Welcome to In the Spirit of Things, folks, and you gotta love it when the nefarious ones step into the fray. I want to banter tonight. Folks, Brother Michael sent out our 1,400-plus email blast, and when you click on the icon for I Am Free Will, it goes to error 404. Go figure. That must be the nefarious ones at their finest. Not only do they love my topics, now we're going to block I Am Free Will. Hey, you got to love it when Tricks is for Kids Hour gets rolling. I just tried clicking on the icon. Brother John, were you aware of that?
Yeah, I just clicked on there, and it came
404,
up,
right?
but the number wasn't there. Now, let me try it again. 1 second.
No, it's not about the number not being there, brother. I see the number 646-478-4075. I'm talking about the blue icon. The link.
Oh, okay.
Click on the link and see what happens.
All right.
Folks, you can't make this stuff up. It's going to go error 404. They love my show so much it goes to error 404, page not found. Did you try it?
Yeah, I'm having some difficulty.
Well, just click on the fucking link, bro.
Yeah. No, I'm saying I'm having difficulty for it to load the page. Yeah. Let's see here.
Anyways, they love it when you talk about slavery, who owns you, and the IRS incorporated papers and all this beautiful stuff that we cover. Because we got to hide this from the sheeple. We got to keep them sheeple. Go figure. Yeah.
Well, you know what happened to us today, so...
Yeah, I know. Folks, it's getting ugly all over. Here's proof in the pudding. So, laying down is not an option, even though they ignore everything. Anyways, were you able to click on the link, Brother John?
Yeah, it's still trying to load.
Oh.
It's, nothing's happening, so, there's definitely something wrong.
Well, maybe I could have my producer see if she can try it. Hey, Andrea, open up the page I sent today and see if you can open it up. I'm going to banter about this. Anyways, it's not an icon. It's a link, folks. It's a link. It's a blue link. It says I Am Free Will, and it gives the date and the post to open up, and it won't open up. It goes to 404. Robert was asking me. He goes, what link? Anyways, it's not an icon. It's a link, and it should open up. Anyways, you gotta love it. Unbelievable. Yep, showing it as live. Here, I'm gonna go into our In the Spirit of Things and see if it opens up once we get into I Am Free Will. Anyways, folks.
Yeah, In the Spirit of Things opens, but
Yeah.
In the Spirit of Things. I'm on Privatis now too, so we still Privatis is up.
No, brother. I'm talking about the email.
I know the link.
blast.
I know.
Anyways, I get excited.
I'm just checking the other sites.
Anyways, folks, you got to love it when you're telling the truth. See, this is what happens when you tell the truth. They got to try and block it at all costs. Well, I guess we'll have to create another methodology to bring it forward on a different level. Anyways, folks, Matter of fact, Brother Robert, he said 404 not found on his email blast as well. What they've done is when we sent our email blast, somebody told me about this yesterday, that they had the same problem. And, of course, I can't get a hold of Michael when I need to, so it's not like we can fix it right this minute. Anyways, I'm not really feeling chipper today. I don't even feel like doing a call, brother. I'm at that point. I'm doing all this heavy lifting, creating all these beautiful YouTubes, and doing all this extra work to help my brothers and sisters get off the slave plantation, but they all just really want to go to sleep. So I'm almost wondering if maybe I should just shut down our site and let everybody figure it out for themselves. I'm getting to that point. Nobody's paying attention. Nobody cares. And they're ready to kiss the boots of their masters.
Well, yeah, it does seem that even if you do know who you are, we had quite the experience. Would you like to hear about how we made out in court today?
Matter of fact,
I'm going to introduce you to the most corrupt judge I've ever met in my life. Basically, This guy basically let us be the live man and woman with our full name on record, Jonathan Joseph of the House of Little, with the Sand, the whole works. And we got a habeas corpus. He called the common law court, the whole works. Still, tried his intimidation thing at the beginning and all this kind of stuff. Still let the prosecutor represent in a common law court who was supposed to bring forth the one who brought the charges or brought the accusations. You're supposed to face with your adversary. Sends in a third-party representative. We also made it quite clear that we were presenting ourselves for court multiple times. He did try to, get us to say represent and all this kind of stuff, and are you going to get a lawyer and all this? And basically, we had a surprise for him. We had a nice document. It was about half an inch thick, and it basically contained everything, Pete.
Right.
It contained, well, here, hon, why don't you give me the document there so we can discuss this on the air. She's just going to grab that. And I'll kind of let you know the absolute just running amok. So this guy must be retiring or something because, so here's what we had for list of exhibits. Exhibit A was the unlawful and without a bond and no warrant court order.
Right.
The evidence of our property was Exhibit B. Exhibit C was affirmations of men and women verifying property belongs to Jonathan and Jacint. Exhibit D was evidence of inherent rights. Exhibit E was evidence that we are not government employees or agents under codes or statutes or laws. Exhibit F was evidence of duties and obligations of court officials to a living man and woman. Exhibit G was evidence of diplomatic status from the Divine Province.
Our link, when you send the I Am Free Will link, it comes up 404.
Exhibit I, evidence of multiple ignored notices of wrongdoings and demand and wish of return of property. Exhibit J, Canada Postal registered and signed for evidence receipt of sent notices of wrongdoing. And Exhibit K, multiple breaches recorded on the Court of Chancery at Divine Province for Jesse and Jonathan, and also a court, Exhibit M, court rules, because this was our court that we were conducting. Well, we got that evidence in, and in that evidence, we basically had everything you can think of to prove that we are no longer Canadian citizens under statute laws. We made it very clear in court under with talking to them and everything else, how they try to trick you into the jurisdiction and everything else. So we got the prosecutors to accept our documents, and they had to take a 3-hour recess after accepting our documents and to go through them. So I guess the judge went through them, and he came back, and we went through the whole, are you presenting a claim for our children? What's that, hon?
Yeah.
Sorry about that. It is so we started off. It is our belief that Madame Dubé, a woman in the capacity of Minister of Social Department, has unlawfully and without rights, against our wishes, and without proper claim, taking and detaining our children in naked possession. And we had our first exhibit, which was the bond, which had no warrant attached whatsoever, if you don't have a bond to claim any damages if you did something wrong, it is null and void. Well, he seemed to just, that was no big deal for him. He just skipped through that one, and this is one of the main reasons why they were not allowed to enter our home. Well, so we keep on going, and like I say, we had Exhibit B was the evidence of our property, and we had our lovely children there, and beautiful pictures of them all happy and stuff like this. We had also, like I was saying, their final orders from the Court of Chancery, which he read in the courtroom, on file, on record, and you're quite familiar with the final order, right, Peter?
Yeah.
Yeah. So read this, blatant, right out. Also read our affirmation, which stated that we were the man and woman here in inherent rights, and I'm just going to find that for you so I can read that on the air, the affirmation right here. Just 1 second, Peter.
Yep, it's all right. Hey, no rush. We're taking our time tonight.
All right. Well, while she's finding the affirmation, I'll also read what else we put in. Like we mentioned before, here in Canada, we have a charter and we have a constitution. The Constitution of Canada is the supreme law of Canada, and any law that is inconsistent with the provisions of the Constitution is to the extent of inconsistency of no force and effect. And then Chapter 32 states that this chapter applies to the Parliament and Government of Canada in respect to all matters within the authority of Parliament, including all matters relating to the Yukon Territory and Northwest Territory, and to the legislation and government of each province in respect to all matters within the authority of the legislation of each province. So basically what they're saying in plain English is these laws apply to government employees. So, another thing that we, put into evidence that we are not government employees. And it just went on and on and on and on. And basically, this fella, he went through and put everything on the record, even including the breaches of trust, including the wrongdoing, the notice of precipitates and wrongdoings. You know what I mean? That we sent out earlier with your 21-day notice to bring forth a proper claim and all this kind of stuff. Completely just ignored it. We stood standing in our common law jurisdiction the whole time. Even on the record we had the jurisdiction of the I'm getting tongue-tied now. The judicial district of the Divine Province and all this kind of stuff. We also, like I said, we had a notice of affirmation. And here's what he read in the court. And it started off, Court of Queen's Bench, Court of Records, Common Law Proceedings, Court File Number, blah, blah, blah. We, a man and a woman, verify before our Creator, and we verify under oath of affirmation in open court, all herein to be true. And it started off, number 1, we, a man and a woman, verify that we operate under the universal law of free will. We, a man and a woman, verify that any laws, codes, or statutes that conflicts with our rights is unconstitutional, no force and effect. We, a man and a woman, verify that our hopes, dreams, feelings, and much more, our children we mentioned here, are our flesh and blood creations, our blood, sweat, equity, and labor, and they continue to our emotional, psychological, and spiritual wealth. Thus are our property, children, valuable and beloved to us, and they lawfully belong to us, and there is no man or woman who can verify under oath of affirmation in open court a claim to the contrary. We, a man and a woman, verify there is no authority superior to ours who can verify under oath of affirmation in any open court that they have more interest and concern of what is the best interest in protecting our property, children, than we do. We, a man and a woman, verify that there is no authority superior to ours that can administrate our property, children, against our wishes. We, a man and a woman, verify that anyone administrating our property without rights against our wishes is acting unlawfully, causing us harm, causing us to be aggrieved, and trespassing against us. We, a man and a woman, verify that anyone taking and or being in naked possession of our children without rights and against our wishes is acting unlawfully, causing us harm, causing us to be aggrieved, and trespassing against us. We, a man and a woman, verify that anyone detaining our property without rights and against our wishes is acting unlawfully, causing us harm, and causing us to be aggrieved and trespassing against us. We, a man and a woman, verify that we define wrongdoer as a man or woman who, without rights and against our wishes, trespass against us and our property, and or takes our property or children, and or causes harm to our property or children, and or causes us and or our property to be aggrieved. You know what I mean? And this went on. We've got 13 points here. Even with all this, with standing in who we are, and even with the court rules that state, we, a man and a woman, present ourselves and a case at a court on April 10th at 9 a.m., 110 Charlotte Street, St. John, New Brunswick. We, a man and a woman, will bring a law common to Desant and Jonathan to a court of Queens Bench, New Brunswick. Said court will consider all claims that appear to have vested interest in their property, written, signed by the one making the claim from 9 till 10 o'clock. Said claims will be presented in living voice in open court. Said voice will require the seated jury within 7 days to consider all claims set before said juries to render a verdict. If no said claims are presented before said court by 10 o'clock, the one assigned by the court clerk to witness this case will tender to the clerk the case in its final judgment shown as closed, the order binding, and all said to bear the Court of Queen's Bench seal. If the representative of the Court of Queen's Bench believes it is proper to not proceed in a lawful manner, then the Desant Jonathan Court wishes, requires, and demands that their findings of fact and conclusions of law on record. And we said the same thing about the court clerk. And even with this, it's like these guys are just absolutely asking for it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
We couldn't have asked to put together a better case of breach of trust. And we're going to strive to get those court records next. And the next chapter proceeds, Peter.
Yep.
And now we have to escalate out of that court, and which we figured from the beginning anyway, that we would have to escalate because we've been dealing with these guys from the beginning, and it's been nothing but blocking, sidelines, and all this kind of stuff. And now basically they just said, well, let them put all this stuff in, and we'll just ignore them, and we'll just violate them, and we'll just do whatever we want. They're just running rampant. While our children beg and scream to come home, even the other parents in this situation that were going for custody are begging for the children to be able to come home to us because they know their home life was good here, and the only reason that they're even coming forward now is because of CPS, and they're not coming against us. We just found this all out today, that they're actually just trying to get the kids out of the foster homes. You know what I mean? And even with 4 months with them, with all their, lawyers and all this kind of stuff, they're in the same boat. So, something's got to give. The difference between me and them is that I established who I was. And if he chooses to ignore who I was, well, now this is going to get very interesting. We're going to, go to the next level. So we're definitely discussing our next move, and we're not discouraged. It was quite the blow because, it really seemed like we had it. We were, when you have that perfect game, you feel like you have that perfect game, and that's what it felt like. And even, the judge's little speech at the end and stuff like that, he was calling us very articulate, very, all this kind of stuff, stroking our ego and all this, and, saying how the best interest of the children, and then he brought up this legislation, family code bull that doesn't apply to us again, and denied the habeas corpus.
Of course.
After all that. So, just absolute nefariousness. Even the lawyers for the mother and father of the children as well, on the other side, came towards, over to us and complimented us and admired us, and wow, we're trying to fight CPS all the time and stuff, and that was great. You guys really should get up there and really tell people this, and you guys are very articulate, and we can't believe that you didn't win this. Like, we don't know what's going on. This is just even though they've never heard of half of the laws that we quoted or brought in there and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
And stating who we were. So, Peter, we it looks like we're in for a battle. It looks like they want to play. We gave them a nice, easy way out. We didn't file a claim. We just wanted our children back. But it looks like they really wish to play hardball. So that's where we're at the moment.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to fix this other crap while you are running with the call, and that's cool.
Sounds good.
I'm trying to open it up and see what happens. Michael said he's testing. He doesn't know if it's a Yahoo problem now. I think it's a scumbag problem. Let's see if it comes up. I clicked on it. I pulled the icon right off of our page. No, not the... see, on the email blast, brother, we have the actual blue link to click on. So it'll bring you right there. However, the problem is... nope, it's not coming up. It's hold on, maybe it is.
Yeah, you're right. HostGator, I got it too. Arrow 44 page not found. Yep.
No, it actually did come up. It actually came up when I went into the systems of downs from our web page. It clicked on today's date, and then
but if you do click the link from the email, it does 4440. Yeah.
Right, 404.
Yeah.
And another brother was telling me that yesterday. So. Anyways, you got to love it. When you bringing out the truth, hey, let's block them another way, because we know they know that the sheep, my brothers and sisters, don't know how to type in blog talk I am free will. See, therein lies my problem. This is what I'm saying. If they can't, if an icon doesn't work, they wouldn't. This is really sad state of affairs, brother. My poor brothers and sisters have really been incapacitated to the point where they literally can't think outside the box. They say, well, gee, if I just type in blog talk. / I am free will, it'll bring me right up to the site, or right up to I am free will. But the problem is, because, I had Sister Terry go, well, hey, your link doesn't work. And then I said, well, type in blog talk I am free will, you'll probably get there. And she, anyways, I'm really getting tired, brother. I'm really tired. I know you're getting tired. But that's what they want.
It's
they want to wear us out.
It's definitely a very tiring battle, and definitely takes a lot to lead the way for this not to happen to other people, and that's what that's what keeps us going and stuff like that, is knowing that we are doing the right thing. We are in a world of evil people that just will break laws left and right, and I think their time is coming to an end, and they just don't care.
Right.
So
hey, brother, they'll all be accountable. See. I know it's. I am well aware, and it is. When I say it, and I've said it a million times, it's all on the wheel. What goes around comes around. This garbage that they're perpetrating on their brothers and sisters is going to be met with a different. They're going to have to, brother. Like I say, they're going to be met with a different capacity to have to get themselves right. I mean, they're going to be held accountable in a different way. It's not by us. It's not by anger. It's not by us going against anybody. You gotta love it.
Well, yeah, and let me tell you, when the cookies dangled right in front of your face, and we were so sure that we were getting the kids today, and definitely a kick in the gut. But like I said from the beginning, we're in for the long haul, and we're gonna do what we got to do, and this path is. Gone through a few machetes already, but, we're still making a path. We're still making progress, even though sometimes it may not look like it. We figured we were going to have to go past those courts before we even started this. But, there's certain steps you've got to take and certain roads you have to lay to let them bury themselves. And this guy buried himself as best as I've ever seen anybody. So... we're going to get the transcripts, and so, we can get maybe that on Privatis or something like that. Let our listeners check it out and see what was really said. And, because I can only remember so much. It was, 6 hours today, back and forth. We were in court, hour here, hour there, and back and forth on recesses for 2 hours and stuff like that. So, we're quite emotional and... still a little foggy, but we'll get it all out and get it all to our members and let them know the kind of absolute crimes that are going on. We're a beautiful family here in the country and stuff like that. We harmed no one. We did no one any harm, and they can just go and do this to people that absolutely love their children, and their children love them, and just take them. What kind of world do we live in?
Yeah, well, we're going to go to break. We're going to go to break, John, and we'll come back. And
all right.
Yeah, I'm feeling a little melancholy today. Anyways, everybody go to break. Do what you do on break. We'll be right back. All right. Anyways, folks, welcome back. In the spirit of things and not feeling real spirited tonight. Yep, that's what happens. See, folks, you got two guys over on the other side of the fence, and Brother John. We're all doing this heavy lifting, and then everybody just stands back and watches. And they want to make sure that it's safe to cross the bridge. Then they want some sacrificial lambs to go in first before they do. Yeah, I get it. See, that's the problem, and that's why everybody's in this state of insanity. That's why this whole thing is going down the way it's going down. That's why all this hubris is being brought forward on a whole different level, because everybody went to sleep.
Well, yeah, exactly, Pete. Imagine I went to that courtroom, that day with, 5,000 of our listeners. Go ahead, violate them now while we witness. That wouldn't happen, right? We got to get the support going. We got to, get our listeners. This is a private club, that we've got here, and we've got to support each other, and we've got to, not be afraid to take the steps. Like I say, we're here and we're gone. All you are is what you leave behind.
Yeah.
So you can't take anything with you.
Yeah.
And how do you want to be remembered? No matter what happens, I can say that I stood up. No matter what, I stood up.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm doing a lot of standing. I just can't get nobody else to stand with me. That's where I'm having a little difficulty.
I'm with you, Peter.
I know, brother.
But it continues.
I know, feeling a little emotional today.
Yeah, I hear you.
Well, you saw that little preview of what Sister Susan did for creating this educational flow that I'm fixing to step this thing up to the next level so I can really pull back the curtain. So, folks, if you're not a full member yet, you're going to want to be, because I'll tell you what, this is going to be the only thing that's going to save your backside, because if you don't remove these presumptions, it's going to get a lot uglier. Hey, this is not fear factor, folks. This is reality. Because everybody's laid down by presumption. So administrating is going to be so much easier. Yeah, I talked to my brothers from Australia. They're really, really happy that I'm going this direction, because that's what I'm figuring out. They've really reduced us to a position of incompetence that we can't even administrate stuff on our own behalf. However, and I can't even blame my brothers and sisters up to a certain point, because the effective propaganda machine and the dumbing down is because everybody goes to somebody else to do the heavy lifting for them. We've been conditioned. They've been conditioned, literally, to, hey, if you can't handle this, go see a doctor. If you can't handle this, go see a lawyer. If you can't handle this, go see some other. There's always somebody in a specialty. They got all these specialties, but the whole point of the exercise is you're supposed to be the specialist in your own life. You're supposed to be doing, of course, you're not going to know all of the plumbing and carpentry and all that stuff, but as a matter of fact, back in the day, you had to know pretty much just about everything. 100 years ago, you had to be self-sufficient on multiple levels. They did a whole hell of a lot more heavy lifting, to create their food, their crops, and everything. Now it's effectively hurry up and go work, so you can become a taxable event on all levels, and they are creating all this other. Like I say, it's paramount to, I guess, a tick, okay? And the tick, that's why it's called politics, folks. Poly meaning many, ticks meaning bloodsuckers, and they just want to leave an empty vessel. And they're doing an extremely good job, because, the multitude of new tax scams they're coming up with every damn day, and Agenda 21, and, the hypothecations on your medical stuff, and it's amazing. It's really amazing that nobody's really paying attention. They're just hurrying up to become the hypothecation event. Hey, the bow is going to break, brother. It's going to break. For all those who don't think it's going to break, stand fast. I hope you know how to be self-sufficient, because that's going to be another paradigm you're going to have to twist your mind around. I'm sounding negative tonight, but at the same time, I'm seeing... I don't think I don't have one individual in my neighborhood, in my proximity, that has any enlightenment whatsoever. They're all dead asleep. Yeah, they're all over playing ball over the field. I know that's the programming of the day. Let's get them busy chasing their tails. paying for uniforms and getting in the game and whatever. Yeah, and they're so busy doing the games that right up underneath them, the arbitrary third hand has come in and taken everything else. Yeah, we own nothing. I realize that, but at the same time, there's going to be nothing left. It's coming to that point. Brother, if I don't get this train rolling for Privatis.Me, I'm going to shut the freaking door and call it a day and let the sheepball figure it out after the fact. I know what to do. It's all good. I'm not worried about me. So, and I don't know. I'm starting to wonder if maybe that's the direction I'm supposed to go. Maybe I'm supposed to shut it down. I know the nefarious ones would love that.
Would they ever? Well, like I say, Pete, we are in the forefront of this. We are cutting the path, as they say, and we are gaining members, and there are people listening, there are people waking up, and it is a scary road. It can be, because we've all had the comfort of big government and stuff like that. But when you realize what they're doing, straight up, how you're just being kept as a dead slave, how you're being poisoned, how you're being programmed, how you're being, just put down to servitude. I'm looking at all these kids now today, and you notice how all these kids have ripped jeans and stuff like that, and that's the big fashion now. You can't go anywhere without buying ripped jeans. Well, that's part of the mentality. That's called the slave mentality.
Yeah.
See, you get your slaves wearing the ripped jeans and start looking like a slave and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, I was always proud when I was growing up, I had a good pair of jeans. I got a hole in them. It was like, well, those are tattered and nasty, and they got to go, right? Now it's fashion. That's not fashion. That's slavitude.
Dude, I was Mr. GQ, dude. I wore nice dress slacks, a button-up shirt. Was in a stage band, jazz band, rock band. So I was Mr. Showmanship. So that's the way I carried myself. Had my hair parted down the middle, feathered back. My sister was a beautician, so hey.
Exactly.
I played, but I wouldn't walk out the house looking like a dog. You know what I'm saying? I mean, now
that's
it's
right.
like I look around and nobody dresses up for nothing. Nobody, that's all. Hey, we're gonna wear our saggy shit and our frattered, tattered clothes, and because they've
eyes on the floor.
Right. Everybody's been reduced to not taking any pride in who they are. It's literally, I mean, you don't have to wear a 3-piece suit to go to the store, but brother, I won't step out of the house without my hair being combed, and I'm looking semi-functional. I don't look like one of Jerry's kids or like I just got off the Salvation Army bus or something. When I go to Walmart, and sometimes I end up going there, and
the funny thing is, like people think that the evil guys are going to come out and like bash you in the head with a baseball bat. Oh, look, I'm evil. No, the evil guys are the most slick, well-rounded fellas. You know what I mean? They'll con you and get in, and then next thing you know, you're friggin' poor, you're poisoned or whatever. That's how this stuff works. They don't sit there and let they're coming. They do it subtly. Here, put this TV show on and get people to like this and get people to like these people that have no education, that talk like absolute morons. You know what I mean? And this is our idols for our children and stuff like that. Come on, parents, wake up. Why do you think your kids are pregnant at like 14, 15? You know what I mean? Why do you think they're losing their minds? Because they're not being taught anything. They're being raised by TV, and they're being taught things that go against what we are as humanity. Humanity is a beautiful race that could just do so many things. But it's like, it's like people just are waiting. Everyone knows it's collapsing, but it's like, oh, well, we'll just wait till it collapses and then what, rebuild? Well, why not do something now? Why not put in the systems now for the old systems to collapse, that the new systems are already sitting there waiting, Yeah. This is how I look at things, right? I was always one of those people that's always been prepared, That's, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, as my old man used to say. So.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's and this is what we're trying to, we're trying to bring back real men and stuff like that with Privatis. We're trying to bring back, people that are proud, that walk tall, this is a very proud moment for our listeners who are learning this stuff and are able to walk in this honor and understand that, yeah, we do live in a world of, a lot of nefariousness, and I'm not afraid to stand up against it, so that my next generation won't have this world. Like, what's going to happen in the next 20 years, 30 years, Pete?
Well, like I said, that's why I stepped in. Hey, by the way, I guess we do have a couple inbound calls.
Okay, well, let's take a call.
Yeah, my producer told me, it's a new moon. Yeah, you know what? Maybe she's right. Direction. Always, everything gets goofy when the moon. I don't know. Whatever. Anyways, gravitational pull on my brain. I don't know. Whatever. Today's been a really bizarre day. Yeah. Anyways, Andrea. Yeah, I'll tell you what, sweetie. Bring in the first caller. What the hell? Because I ain't got nothing to say tonight. I'm wore out.
Hi.
How you doing?
Hi. I've called before, and I don't want you guys to feel completely discouraged.
Hey, Tanis.
Hi. You're not supposed to say my name. Just say Mom from Manitoba. I'm discouraged too, and it is only through uniting with one another that are fighting this. Basically, it is a war. It's a spiritual war, and most people are quite comfortable still. So we have to unite together with the people that have been, right in the front lines, as you guys have. And this group that I was talking to last night, I just sent an email to you, Peter. They're forming the International Common Law Courts in the U.S., and Kevin Annette is forming the International Courts of Common Law in Canada, and these two groups are establishing our own system for the people, by the people. And since most issues become legal or lawful issues in the end, this may be the way to direct our energy to unite with others who are being warriors against injustice in society.
Well, like I say, that's why I opened up the door, and I'm in creation right now of the first step for everybody to go do, and that's remove yourself from the body politic. Because, matter of fact, it's posted on the Mass Blast again tonight, because it's that important to read for everybody to understand that you literally have been given over into a capacity that you didn't understand you were, because they're using these words because they didn't want you to read those words and understand the meanings behind them. You've been subverted into a status that you didn't know existed. And so this is a starting point, and this is why I'm the first YouTube coming out the box here probably in the next 3 days. I got somebody doing some heavy lifting getting this done with me. And it's going to be a PowerPoint presentation. But, yeah, you better go read Slave, Who Owns You. It's posted on this email blast. Everybody, it's a mandatory must. This is not maybe. I know they tell us what to do, but, okay, it's not a mandatory must. It's imperative that you read it if you want to find out how it really works. Because once you signed into the body politic, you gave over, but they didn't tell you. I know that's fraud on its face. I get it. Because, they haven't told us anything about, like I say, you got the birth certificate scam, and it all started there. I understand all that, but nobody's waking up. Everybody's dead asleep. They don't understand that their status has been subverted to that of a slave, and they really don't believe it. Oh, I'm not a slave. Well, let me hey, folks, you know what? You are. No one is more enslaved than the one that actually thinks he's free, because he doesn't understand that, in the Creator's world, you don't pay for the right to breathe. You don't pay for the right to hunt. You don't pay for the right to fish. Those are inherent rights of survival. You don't pay for the right to travel, to get from point A to point B. We've been reduced to a friggin' hypothecation event. I'm ranting. I'm in rare form.
Look what's going on. You know what I mean, Pete? You get these people. They get enough money. They get themselves to work. They get themselves a mortgage. Get themselves their car with their credit and all this kind of stuff. They're going good. They're making just enough money to pay their bills, get back to work. Blah blah blah. Next thing you know, they get sick or something happens. they lose everything. What's up with that? You know what I mean? Because they didn't own anything right from the beginning, right? The banks owned it, the credit cards owned it, all this kind of stuff, and but you're not a slave. You know, you're getting paid in paper, and everything that you're buying can be taken away from you. You know, even my home here, it's paid for, but if I don't pay the land taxes, what's going to happen? Right? Yeah. They're going to put my house up in an auction, all this kind of stuff. Well, this house is paid for. What the heck? What do you mean? Like, you can put taxes on something I already paid taxes on? Like, this is the kind of stuff. It's just mind-boggling, and that we fall for. And then every year they pass a new law. Here's a new bill. Here's a new fine that we can give you to suck some more money out of you. You know what I mean? Oh, your car is producing too much CO2. Here's a new one. Oh, we're going to charge you so much per kilometer now. It's just going to keep on going until you get your paycheck, and it's just going to be one hand out and one hand in. That's it, and that's all you're going to work for. You're not going to see anything. And next thing, you're going to be in these camps where you're told what to do, because that's how it's going to go. You know what I mean? Why are they programming people to be dumbed down and be subservient, right? So they can do ultimate control. We're still a little too aware and uppity right now, Yeah,
well, Canada's pretty much right on that hit list for the most part. I mean, USA Inc. is far behind, but where they can just come, they arbitrarily, like I talked to two people today, and I'm hearing the horror stories. I said, yep, well, you left your biscuits on the plate for the vulture to eat. See, if you're gonna play this game because they are nefarious crooks. They know they ain't got proof. They know that they got to steal it to get it, because they really know deep down inside that they have no other recourse except to steal it. And hey, I've been stole from too, brother. I've been on the victim list, and so I said, okay, I'll remove everything off the plate for the vultures so they can't eat. That's why I divested myself of so many different things. And you know what? I'd rather live like this than give over that they're going to just steal it anyway. So what the hell? I don't give a crap that I don't have a 401k. I have nothing to steal. Like I say, brother, I got nothing left. Hey, the only thing you do is take my life, and hell, you'd probably be doing me a favor on that level. So,
it's all about trying to find remedy. Tanis, what were the remedies that they were offering with the International Common Law Court?
Well, just to say that, how right you are, Peter, first, that essentially if they can steal your children without reason, without just cause, without doing anything wrong, as they have with John and Jess and my children, I mean, they can do anything. I mean, that's the core of who we are, our children, our biological flesh and blood. If they can do that, if the state can do that, then they can do everything. And that's we're living proof and testimony that we are slaves.
Right, right. Because you board in their public fool hospital, sweetie, because they didn't tell you that. Why do you think they don't want midwives in USA Inc. anymore? They want everybody to go to the house of hell so they can give over their hypothecation event, because they got nothing.
And I was just there one night
steal the substance of us.
For each child, I was just there one night, and they got my children.
Right.
Not right away.
Yep.
I didn't know I was going to be treated like a surrogate mother. I didn't know that was part of the deal of marrying the man I married. I didn't know that the state could do this, that they could steal my children through getting a legal divorce. But that's what they were able to do, and I've been fighting for 4 straight years.
Right, and it's ironic, sweetie, that we're going to show people how to remove the presumption off the divorce. Nothing ever goes to divorce if you rescind the contract. Okay, so that's okay. I'm doing that one next. After everybody rescinds their body politic, you get to rescind those stupid, sorry-ass third-party intervener marriage certificates. Then they have no heir, or they have no capacity to move forward to steal the fruit of your loins. But because you married in the system, you gave over and got a third-party intervener in your game. So guess what I'm doing next? I'm doing not third-party, but I'm doing marriage certificate termination process by the live man administratively, and it'll go to the proper trials of the circus, and they have to remove it from the system of records ab initio, non pro tunc to the date of inception. It's a dead letter issue. See, because we didn't put forth our free will act and deed. So if you don't remove the presumption, it means you're happy with where you're at. But they won't tell you this. So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to tell everybody, even if they're going to block my damn I Am Free Will site on the email blast, I'll find another way to get my stuff out there. because they are scared itless because, hey, I know it's about rescinding the contracts. It's that simple. And when you remove the presumption and you remove their friggin' power, and that's how you remove the power, because they're waiting for you to come forward on your free will act and deed. If you do not remove that presumption administratively, because that's the only way you can do it, then guess what? You're left in the deep end, and they think you love where you're being at. So, anyway, sweetie, I got another call coming in, so I'm gonna kick you to the curb. I'm sorry. Anyways, I appreciate you sharing the love. And I've got 6 minutes to break. I'm gonna let the next one in. And Tanis, hey, that's why I'm doing heavy lifting, and that's gonna be direction of flow with YouTube's only for the full members. Over at my site, it's going to show you exactly how to do the documents and why. And I'm going to give everybody a whole different plethora of clarity because it's really time for the heavy lifting because my brothers and sisters can't even think how to type in I am free or blog talk I am free will when they can't. The icon doesn't work to get in off the email blast. It's a sad state of affairs that it doesn't measure in their mind. Say, well, it's I am. Let's see, that's blog talk I am free will, and that's all you got to do is plug it into their search bar, and it will come right up, and they'll be able to click and get right in. But they've dumbed them down to not even be able to think like that. It's sad.
Peter, can I tell you after the break, or tell you and John after the break about this group that they acknowledge the same thing that you're saying, to get off the body politic?
Yes.
In order to be heard in the international tribunal by the
right, because you can't be serving two masters, otherwise you're
right.
a double-minded man. Hey, guess what? They get in my memo, so that's a beautiful thing. So this is huge.
I forwarded the talk show piece from last night that you might want to send to your people that are listeners because they said exactly the same thing, Peter. So I'll let you go at that. And,
okay, send me an email with that attachment.
I did.
I'll make sure to send it as a favor to
Tanis.
I did.
Very good.
I sent it to Peter. Okay, thank you.
It hasn't showed up yet because I've looked in my email a couple times and it's yet to show up. So
really, is it under? Okay, well I'll send it to you, John, and
John
the link.
can forward to me. He knows how to get to me as well.
Okay, thanks a lot. Bye bye.
All right, thank you, sweetie. Have a great night. All right.
Thank you.
I don't even know if we have time for the next caller. Let me take a look. Next caller, Gary. Okay, well, hey, Greg, if we can go to break a little early. Hey, brother Gary, you just hang loose in the queue there, and we'll bring you on in. I guess there's signs of life. I woke up again. Anyways, John, that's what I get. I get. Hey.
Just had to get you fired up, brother.
Well, what's nice is she's telling me what I'm saying has substance. Now you have Kevin, and then people telling that divest yourself of the goddamn body politic. It's that simple. It's so damn simple, nobody's going to get it. That's the point.
Exactly.
You can't serve two masters.
See what we're seeing already, Peter. The great thing about this universe is as soon as one door closes, another door opens up.
Yeah. It's irony. Anyways, folks, you know what? Sorry for bantering. Sorry for not being all together, folks, because like I say, I get some stress too. Hey, guess what I'm doing? I'm trying to save my brothers and sisters from the insane train. So, come join me because I need a community. I need some love. I need some sharing. I need some, because I can't do this by myself, and I'm not going to do it by myself. And it seems like I'm doing an awful lot by myself. So, you know what? Come into my house. You're invited, and let's move this forward because if the collective doesn't come forward, the shift ain't going to happen. At least not for y'all to stand back and wait for everybody else to do the heavy lifting because it's going to require everybody. It's going to require us all because it's not going to work any other way. Because if you stand fast and do nothing, it's going to be more of the same. Like I say, think of your kids. Anyways, on that note, sorry for ranting. I love y'all. If I didn't, I wouldn't be here. Anyways, let's go to break. Y'all do what you do when you go to break. We'll be right back. Well, that was really special. Hey, John, you want to hear something interesting?
What's that?
I'm just listening to the tune, and all of a sudden, Peter got knocked out the box. I had to call back
really?
in. Yeah.
That's happened to me a couple times, too.
Scum-sucking bottom feeders, how y'all doing today? Go look in the mirror and see what you see, which is nothing but a void looking back. You got to love it. Anyways, hey, you think we're all asleep? Snap the hell out of it there, clowns. We got the memo. We know what you're up to. We know exactly what you do. Yeah, in multiple layers. Yeah, we know all about what you do. Hey, we know all you are is, bottom feeders, nefarious ones, and your soulless entity is not going to come and get completed. You're gonna stand fast in a whole different way. You'll get your memos, I promise. Anyways, enough of that banter. Anyways,
who's our caller, Pete?
Yeah, I got another caller. Brother Gary, come on through. Let's see if we can't get this thing moving here.
Hello, gentlemen. I hope you're hearing me. We're in the middle of a thunderstorm here, but I have a question. First off, the link that was sent out on the email for tonight's broadcast is not functioning. But
yeah,
anyway,
you and the other 1400, brother. Yeah, 404, but that's all right.
Okay. I assume that you've got the memo on that by now.
Yeah. Well, I found out at the very front end, and but that's that's where I hope my brothers and sisters who are coming to the show to just think a little bit outside the box and just say, well, the name of the show is Blog Talk I Am Free Will, and if they type that in, it will bring them right to the site, and that would allow them access to get on as well.
Yeah. I'm a thinker outside of the box myself,
right?
And I really enjoyed, and I think you're really on the cutting edge of what our problems are in these courtrooms. My problem is like a lot of them. I'm 70 years old. I paid into Social Security all my life, and that's my sole source of income. But when I applied for Social Security, I qualified my signature without prejudice, UCC 1-308, etc. So even though I have contracted with the beast to get what's rightfully mine, I paid in, I feel like we were born into a dual citizenship. When they smacked my butt, first draw of breath, I was an American national, a 13th Amendment citizen, if you will. Then, through the stupidity of income tax and all this other stuff.
You can blame that on FDR. He was the one who gave us over 1933. So
anyway, between the Social Security, 1040s, and driver's license, I obviously, not knowing any better, I said that I was a U.S. citizen, but I changed that on my Social Security application. My point is this. These are nothing but corporations, and we have the right for unlimited pursuing contracts with any person or entity that we wish to. And I have the capacity of operating in multiple capacities. I might be a father, I might be a grandfather, I might be a 14th Amendment citizen activity, or I might be a 13th Amendment citizen activity. The bottom line is that I think that you can invoke whatever citizenship you want at whatever point in time. In other words, if you get stopped with a traffic stop, you are not performing a U.S. citizen function in that you are not acting as an employee, agent, or all the other stuff that goes along with that. You're acting in your private capacity. So that way they do not have the jurisdiction. Am I onto something here, or? No,
they have jurisdiction all day long because you completed the circuit for them, sir. The minute nobody reads, okay, I'll cover this for you, brother. When I read the actual application for license, it says you're a vessel in commerce. I said, I ain't filling this crap out, and I didn't. I haven't had one of their fiction licenses for years, and I'll never get one ever again because I read the damn thing. See, because that's where you give over consent. When you sign it, and you come into the game, and then they ask for a registration, and then they ask you to have insurance. You complete, everything's done in threes. You complete the circuit. So therein lies the whole issue in itself. But see, the right to travel was converted to a privilege by default because we weren't paying attention. And it started back in 1908 in, of all places, Massachusetts. They started the scam. I know the history on how all this crap started, brother, because I'm the history guy. But everybody fell asleep, wasn't paying attention, and they created this game. And then they put more layers in it, more layers. This is why, hey, brother, on my email, have you read Slavery, Who Owns You?
I might have missed that one. I did the birth certificate.
That's gonna be your job, brother, because everything you're speaking of, I get what you're saying, but you obviously haven't read the memo. See, I put out memos, and this is where I live, because when you read this, you're going to have total clarity on the duplicitous nature of these adhesion contracts. This is why I'm going down this road with removing presumptions, because failure to remove a presumption means that it exists, and they have the right to do whatever the hell they want, just like what they're doing over there in Oregon right now, forced compliance on those shots for a family of 8, or there was 8 different families, and the judge was enforcing it, but the parents didn't know what their status was, and those children are slaves of the state because they were born in a public hospital, given over by the mama, she was the informant, and nobody was paying attention. So you can't see now they're obvious about it. Now it's just naked, outright aggression, what they're doing, because they don't think you're ever going to wake up and figure it out. So this is why I came forward with Brother Michael and myself. I said, hey, Michael, these are simple issues to put to bed. I mean, they're extremely simple. They're so damn simple, most people aren't going to get it because they think I'm nuts, you know. But you know what? Brother, I'm paying attention. I understand the removal of presumption. See, and you can rescind all contracts. And I'm going to share some love about the IRS. So any past 1040s you've done over your lifetime, you can remove the presumption on those documents as well. But they'll never tell you this, because when you rescind, i.e., you as the man, not as a dead entity, and remove that presumption, it goes to ground. In other words, so if you had a marriage license by the state, you rescind that marriage license, non pro tunc to the date of inception, they have to remove it from the system of records. And I'm going to make sure they get it removed, because it's going to go registered mail, international, outside of the jurisdiction of Downs, because if you send it domestic, you are stuck in you're domestic. You're inside of USA Inc. See, I know. Why do you think I know all this stuff, brother? Yeah, do you think this is all an accident? Nothing happens by accident in my world. I understand process, and they don't want you to understand process. So guess what? Everybody comes over to Privatis.Me, gets their game on, and I'm actually doing some extra heavy lifting right now for all my full members. I'm going to actually create YouTubes only for consumption for the members, because I am private. Everything stays, what you do in the private stays in the private. I can't do this in the public, but I can sure as hell do it in the private. So when you come over, I'm going to have a YouTube that says, okay, here's your starting point. This is the document. This is how you do the document. This is how you send the document, because if you don't understand capacity, if you don't understand status, if you do not know how to remove that presumption, they're going to ignore the document. This they can't, because this is the free will act and deed of a man. Go figure, my show's called Free Will. Brother, I get free will, and so don't you. So you're in the right place. You are getting benefits, but I like the way what you're talking and how you preface it. Yeah, because it's all about the trust. It's all about the estate. They think you didn't want anything because you registered it over. Well, we're going to change all these presumptions, brother. That's all we got to do. It's so damn simple. No warring, no anger, no court. Just remove presumptions, because if you're part of the body politic, just like the last guest just said, even Kevin Annett is talking my tune, because you know what? You can't be a double-minded man. Until you remove that presumption, you're in dead man's land, and what you say has no validity. So, brother, I just want to share with you, please go read. It's on. Are you on Privatis.Me, sir?
I signed up for the free part. I'm on Social Security. My funds are limited.
No, brother. Okay. Let me just cut to the chase. Did you get today's email blast?
Did I what?
Get today's email blast.
Yes, I did.
Okay, I want you, hey, brother. Okay, this is your job. I'm gonna get you off the phone here in a second. This is your function tonight. I want you to go read Slave, Who Owns You, and I want you to really read it and take your time. It's multiple paragraphs, but when you get to the other side of it, you're going to have a whole different perspective and clarity on how this is so imperative that people remove themselves from the body politic, and that's the first stepping stone to remove presumptions. Otherwise, you're a double-minded man. So I can't give it to you over the phone in 5 minutes, so I'm going to let you go back to that email after we get off this call, or after when the call's over. You go and you click on that email blast. Because, see, brother, when I bring information, I'm posting it for a reason. It's not to be ignored. It's to be read so you can get clarity on the topic of which I speak. So when I come from this direction, I'm not beating your brakes off. I'm just sharing the love, because I want you to understand. I want you to understand the concepts that are being brought forward, because everybody's operating from a position of no knowledge. They're incompetent. Well, I can change that if you're willing to help me lift a little bit of the water. So it's going to require, my brother, you to step into the breach and go read that in its full entirety. And I promise you, you will have total clarity on how the duplicitous act came about, and you'll have full understanding of why you must remove presumptions and why it will work and why it's really so important. So I'm going to be creating bunches of YouTubes in the next couple 7 to 14 days so that my brothers and sisters can have direction of flow to remove these presumptions. So
I will read the memo, and I thank you. And keep
yes,
on
sir.
going.
Hey, I thank you, sir. I didn't mean to bark at you. If I was barking, I get passionate. I love you, brother, and I thank you for sharing and coming on to the call and sharing us a little love tonight.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yes, sir. Have a great one. All right. We'll move forward.
Hey, Peter.
Yes.
That's an honor to get a rant from Peter himself, the man. Come on now.
But I wasn't ranting at him. There was no malice and aforethought in my heart for my brother.
Not at all.
I see. This is okay. Now I get to cover a point, John. This is what I've been talking about. Okay, yeah.
Now you're gonna rant.
Now here comes the rant. Stand back, everybody. Take a quaalude because it's coming. I'm awake. Okay, here's the point, folks. I post stuff on these email blasts at Privatis.Me. I'm going to give you meat and potatoes. I will give you substance. I will not give you hearsay. You gotta, if I'm stuffing it in the box, you got to go take a look at it. If you haven't looked at the IRS and corporation papers, I had Michael restuff them back on as well. To prove to you that they're nothing more than a private corporation collecting for the other private whore corporation called the IMF, which is a bunch of private freaking bankers at the top of the pecking order, raping the estates of every man, woman, and child because everybody fell asleep. Well, folks, here's the wake-up call. You get to remove presumptions. That's going to be your function with the rest of your life, because if you really want to be truly free, without arguing, without warring, without fighting, they're waiting for you to come forward and remove the damn presumption. But if you're not willing to do it, you laid down, gave over. So you know what? You got to hug the boots of your masters because you gave over via consent. You contracted. That damn body politic thing, when you signed up for the voter rolls, brought you over. But they didn't tell you. And I know that's fraud, folks. I know that's duplicitous acts at its finest. But you know what? They knew you'd be sleep enough to follow the rest of the sheeple, and it's not their job to explain the fraud. It is not their job. It's our job to know that a fraud's been committed and say, okay, well, I don't want to be a party to fraud because that's what it makes you, is a party to fraud, until you remove the damn presumption. But if you go ahead and remove the presumption, you're no longer a party to the fraud, and they got no wiggle room on this because you're going to come forward in the proper context, proper status, as a live man or woman, not as a dead entity. We don't do the left-hand side of the page, folks. When you see what we're doing, we get the concepts that nobody else does. We understand that a live man comes forward with a seal. We don't do signatures. We don't do flatline bullcrap because flatline indicates you're dead, and then they steal your res, R-E-S. That's your energy. That's why they call you a resident. You gave over. You called yourself a citizen, a resident, whatever. You claimed this moniker by default because you did not know what you were doing, because your mama didn't know, your daddy didn't know, your grandparents didn't know. They were too busy trying to make a living just like the rest of all y'all, and that's why everybody's stuck on the plantation. So guess what, folks? This is stupid simple. This is where I live. Anyways, I'm getting excited, John. But hey, is it not imperative to read the memos? I mean, hey, the colonel, when he sent out a memo...
It's an everyday thing. This is not for the faint of heart. You have to learn. You have to unlearn, relearn, and it is a daily thing. And if you're not learning something new, you're falling behind because there has been so much deception and so much stuff that hasn't been taught to us. It's just amazing what's really out there. So yeah, life is about learning. And if you're lazy and you know what I mean.
Yep.
Yeah, don't even bother because
go back to sleep and the masters they got a penthouse for you over at Camp FEMA.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's just it's one of those things. It's the great thing about Private is it's simple. We've broken it down for the common man to start off slow, easy, little bites. Not so overwhelming. Just let you know how you got here, and like I say, you want to get to the advanced course and stuff like that. Become a full member. And then you get into the real nitty gritty and learn how not to be a debt slave, how to get rid of debt, all this kind of stuff, how to heal the body, how to heal the mind. It's just like even us, we're going through an absolute crazy storm, basically in our life and stuff like that. But yet we're holding fast. We're not losing our minds and stuff like that. We're staying in peace and honor, and it's very hard. Trust us, we break down all the time. I've got me and my wife here, and I don't really want to give it out on the calls because that's private between me and her, and but just let the listeners should know that our hearts in it, 1,000,000%. We're here to live, and we're here to be left alone, and like I said before, we're here to stand, and we wish all the rest to just come stand with us because it's not going to happen by yourself. You don't get a field of grass with 2 blades of grass, do you? You just get a big muddy mess, don't you, Pete?
Yeah.
You need them all to come together and get that big field of green grass, and then next thing you know, it's a beautiful paradigm shift, and we've got just more abundance than we can imagine, and it just takes people just to say enough is enough.
Yep. Anyways, I do have another caller coming in, brother.
Sounds good.
I'll let the callers in tonight. It's all good. I'm feeling better. Anyways, Brother Daniel, come on in. The water's fine.
Hello.
How you doing?
Good, thanks. How you doing?
Oh, I just trying to get our minds right over here a little bit.
Actually, there's a listener that had told me about your blog. I've listened to one because of her, and she just spoke earlier. And but I just wanted to know, I know that everyone is sort of complaining about a lot of different things, but
yeah.
First of all, I'm a low income earner,
right?
And I get energy credits, I get child credits, I get HST credits, I get all kinds of credits from Revenue Canada,
right?
And we got about 33 million people in Canada that get some major credits in that. So
I know
there's different questions I have here, but what Revenue Canada takes in and what they give out, I depend on this.
I got you, brother. I get it. Hey, brother. Yeah, go ahead.
But there's that one part, number one. Number two, transport trucks driving down the highway and drives into 4 OPP officers. What are you going to do? What do you have in place?
What do you mean?
Well, you're going to take licenses. You're going to take everything away from everyone, right? What do you suggest you put in place? Nothing. Everyone just drives where they want to drive. Or, what do you have to put in place?
How about freedom with responsibility? And then if you hit somebody, you got to pay, brother. That's how that works. See, that's called freedom with responsibility. See, because they've gone to this insurance scam. This is a whole big LLC, limited liability corporation.
I know.
By the way, brother. Those credits you're getting, it's a hypothecation event, and they're multiply the crumbs that they're giving you times 10. So for all these people in America that are on these food stamps, maybe getting $400, $500, $600, multiply it times 10. Citibank is hypothecating to the tune of 10 times the amount, leaving you the crumbs through a hypothecation event through the back door. But I'm sure you were not well aware of that. So what's going on, brother, is a multiplication factor on the back of you, and they act like they're broke. But brother, they're pocketing the difference through this hypothecation event, through all these systems of downs. And see, so to take from one to give to another is just never a good idea. See, that's where freedom with responsibility comes back to us. I don't take anything from government. I don't want nothing from clowns in the circus. I'm self-sufficient. I'm not putting you down, brother. I'm just sharing with you what's going on behind closed doors that you're totally unaware of. And this is deep.
Well, I'm aware. I am aware, believe it or not. But
the hypothecation event times 10, you're aware of that?
What about freedom of conscience? What about just plainly getting rid of the lawyers and representing yourself and everything, as you stated, freedom of responsibility? So if you do something wrong, you're called in, as Kevin and Etta set up that court. Now, I wasn't sure of the common law court, and I wasn't sure of democracy, because democracy means something different totally. But as it was explained by Mr. Annette at one time, I watched a video and I sort of got a better understanding, because I knew at one time during Aristotle and Socrates and Plato, they did talk democracy, and I Googled it over the net trying to find different things, but there wasn't really a lot on it. And common law concerned me too, because common law, of course, was based on, even though even though it's based on the precedent setting by judges and lawyers, and
right.
But even though the Bill of Rights, 1689, and the was actually based on, a lot of that was based on natural law and natural justice.
Right.
And so I sort of I understand that part, but I guess the whole thing I'm wondering is why not just get rid of the lawyers and have people speak for their own actions under the system that we have.
Right, because when they get all the court actions in USA Inc. and Canada is nothing but a hypothecation event, brother. I prove that irrevocably, unequivocally. If you haven't heard,
I understand that, but something has to be put into place. So why not get rid of all
fine,
the lawyers?
Brother, you know what? We're in transition, so you know what? Let's get across these other little bridges first before we worry about getting to point freaking Z, because nobody's gotten past point A yet, brother. That's where we're at. Point A. This is going to be some heavy lifting, brother. We got a ways to go. So, what you're looking for an answer I can't give you. It's called transition. So, as we remove ourselves from these systems of downs, as we start moving forward, like I say, it takes us to look within ourselves for freedom with responsibility. Because I don't look to anybody for me. You know what? I haven't missed many meals. I've never gone hungry. I've never been on the street homeless, living in a cardboard box. Not because it couldn't happen, but because by grace, I guess. Because I do a lot of heavy lifting for myself, I won't succumb to. Anyways, the point I'm trying to get at is, I know where you're going. I understand what you're saying, but you know what? I can't answer it on this 2-hour call. That's the point.
No.
But we're moving that direction. But first, we got to start with removing these presumptions, how we gave ourselves over through this. I'm not telling you to stop getting what you're getting. I'm not casting any stones of dispersion at your house in any way, shape, or form. I get it.
I understand.
Well, it's like anything, Peter. Like, you know what I mean? Why don't we get rid of the lawyers? Well, that's what I did. You know what I mean? I get rid of the lawyers. But how many more people are going to do that? How many people are going to study what I've had to study to stand on their own? And that's where Peter's saying, everyone's at point A, because there's not very many people like us that are, able to, represent or present themselves for court. There's a lot to learn, and these guys are. It's not only that; it's these guys are so sneaky and so many tricks and stuff like that. It's not like you can just go in to a nice, honest court, present your case and get a fair judgment. These guys. This is what's going on. So yeah,
right. And let me explain to our caller, John. Let me explain to the caller. We come with good intent. I've been explaining this the last couple times on the calls. You come forward with good intent, not realizing that it's just a freaking snake in the grass working his weaselly butt into your world, and he has nothing but bad mojo for you. He's not coming with good intent, but he's depending upon you to be a good, compliant, shearing sheep to just shut up, put up, and take your orders, take your marching orders as a dead entity, and we'll tell you what to think, how to think, and when to think, and that's the way it's going to be. But that's wrong, see, because they didn't inform you that a fraud was being perpetrated in that court system, that you're merely a hypothecation event with a bid bond, performance bond, payment bond. They don't tell you this stuff. See, if you'd know that, it's not about civil or criminal, brother. It's about hypothecation. And I've been saying it for the last 6 months on these calls, and, I got a 2-hour, anyways, let's get past that, so I'm not ranting.
In 2006, I was deemed, April 16, 2006, I was deemed a vexatious litigant here in Ontario. Right. April 19, 2006, I took to the JP to show how the private numbered corporation of the Law Society of Upper Canada, how they were using that to obstruct me from proceeding in the courts. I showed them also I had 800 documents showing that lawyers have committed anything from murder to obstruction of justice in my case. And the JP agreed with me and turned around and laid a 467 against the Law Society of Upper Canada. He charged them as a criminal organization. So there is ways, and people are becoming aware of things, and I think that all that has to take place is get rid of the lawyers and let people start being accountable for their actions. Yeah. And see, the CAS here in Barrie, where I am, I dated a girl who's a doctor, psychologist, and she worked with the out of Bracebridge area, and I mean the way she was with children, and what she would hear and read in that. I mean, she loved working with families and helping families. That was her job. But I think somewhere along the way that we've become this society where, soon you won't even have to, you'll be able to sit in your chair and drive down to the corner store to get something. We rely on someone else to do everything for us.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
right. And I do understand the issue with insurance, and I was saying recently, that I've read all about it with insurance. Some countries don't have insurance. You get into a car accident, you get out, you pay. Like in Taiwan, there's not two sets of books, one for insurance, one for cash. But then a girl said to me recently, she was flying over to England, and she was a stewardess in that, and she was flying over to England, and two stewardesses were actually on the corner, standing on the corner in England, and a motorbike was coming down the road, and the car stopped in front of him. He went and swerved to miss it, and he hit these two women, and he had to mortgage his whole house to cover their medical costs.
Right. Yeah.
In the end. So, and that, I started thinking from that point on, well, how bad would it be if we didn't have insurance? Listen, I think insurance is a scam, and I think we should get rid of all lawsuits. No one sues. Like in Ontario here, for instance, you set up major rehabilitation centers in every city, town, and instead of going and suing in that, you've got tens of thousands of people that are employed to rehabilitate you through the best rehabilitation, process in the world.
Right, but the insurance game was set up by the scumbags at the top of the pecking order. Brother, take a look at the Party of 300 at the upper top. It's all owned by scumbags. So this is where the problem lies. See, because it's all incestuous relationships with Big Pharma, FDA, the medical, the friggin' courts. They're all tied together, and they're the best whores money can buy. See, that's called conflict of interest where I come from, and that's all this system is conflict of interest until people wake up. So, brother, I can't give you the answers that you seek. I'm doing some heavy lifting to remove presumptions. That's where I live. That's simple. That I can teach. That can remove a lot of garbage for my brothers and sisters who are willing to move forward, because if they don't and they stand fast, you've consented. If you haven't watched Slavery by Consent over on my website, brother, it's a 2-hour watch, and I tell you what, you'll have a paradigm shift.
I have watched it.
That's good.
And I don't think there's anything wrong. I think what we have to do is get rid of the lawyers and start being accountable and responsible for our own actions. And with the lawyers would go, of course, a lot of things would go with the lawyers as far as the misabusing of insurances, et cetera,
yep.
And lawsuits. And I think that men can be men, women can be women when you're going through divorces. Maybe like I was involved with the CAS here in Barrie.
All right, brother, I'm gonna have to cut you short because we're at break time. But if you want to banter a little bit after the half hour when we come back, I'll be glad to talk to you a little bit. And hey, my objective is, hey folks, I got a good lawyer joke for you. What's the definition of 100 lawyers at the bottom of the ocean? A good start. And on that note, folks, hey, we go into break. We'll be right back. Do what you do on break. We'll be right back. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
All right, welcome back to In the Spirit of Things, folks. Yeah, got to love that Kansas. They got some substance to them, folks. That's why, I sort of try and pick songs that actually have some meaning behind them because, one man, one heart, folks. Take a look at it. Because they don't want us coming into the one man, one heart. They don't want us paying attention. They don't want us doing introspection. They want us to die in our minds and just go along to get along, tuck our head down, be a good compliant slave, shut up, put up. You know what, folks? That doesn't work for me. It's not. And now my other brothers and sisters are starting to get the wake-up call because the insane train has left the station. And you know what? The only way you can get it off your back is removing presumptions, and that's the only way I know. And I know it's an effective modality, and so that's why I'm going to share it with my brothers and sisters, but in private, because I can't do it in the public. And if you don't get the concept of the private versus the public, then you really got to come over to my house and get your learn on, because this is the whole point of the exercise. See, because if you're in the public domain, you have no right to complain, period. You're a good compliant slave. You've given over. You've subscribed. You've signed on the dotted line. You've sinned/signed on the deadline, bringing over your res because you didn't know who you were. We can change that. Anyways, let me bring that brother back for a couple minutes. Then I'll take that last caller. And here comes the last call for Camp FEMA, the train. Go figure. Anyways, I won't be happy on that. I didn't get that ticket. All right, Brother Daniel, come on back for a second, and then I got one more right behind you, brother.
No, I appreciate everything, and I mean, you're right. Nobody has the answers in that, but I do believe that Kevin Annette's court is a perfect idea. And also, I just wanted to say the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. You have to remember, in Canada here, it wasn't enacted with the informed consent of Quebec, right? Quebec didn't sign it, and this is what Leighton was pushing for before he passed away, was getting Quebec to sign the charter. And also, Ignatieff was making a big stink about it too, and I don't know if you know a lot about Ignatieff, but...
Well, I know all these IMF-run countries are under the UN, brother. Are you well aware of that?
Pardon me?
United Nations, ever hear of them?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, ever hear Codex Alimentarius?
Codex Alimentarius, no.
Okay, yeah, that's another show. Anyways, the point I'm trying to make, brother, is all your scumbags, our scumbags, all these scumbag-run countries under the IMF have given over under UN auspices, and they're not laws. They're just UN auspices. It's the pecking order of all these garbage countries passing dictates for all men, women, and children in their countries by default, because nobody stood up. Everybody sat down, laid down, and gave over. So your scumbags and my scumbags over here, they're not mine, but they're there. You know, those that comply with the game. So this is a paradigm shift, brother. This is going to create. This is some heavy lifting. So. Like I say, I'm going to let you go on this note because
Thank you.
I can't deal with this in one show. But brother, you know what? I'm looking for the truth. That's all I'm looking for, and then I'm going to bring it forward. And this is where you live. This is where, and brother, you're right-minded, and I appreciate you sharing with me on the show tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Yes, sir. Yeah, you bet. All right. Next caller. I don't know your name, sweetie, but it's all good. Come on in. The water is fine.
Hello?
Hello.
Oh, actually, I would definitely support firing a lawyer, and definitely people need to study harder. And my experience, after I fire a lawyer, I started looking into my case, and I was continuously discovering stuff that the lawyer was hiding or did not follow the procedures correctly or never dissected the claim. And later on I found out there was no contract at all. And the court unfortunately ended on a judgment favor to the other party. But now I actually have a chance to bring it to federal court and go through the entire process correct way. So we have a remedy. If we don't get the remedy on the state court, we move to federal court after exhausting all the remedies. And I believe the
just more dictate,
court,
sweetie. Okay, sweetie, I'm going to cut you off there because we're not going to deal with this here now. Sorry. I'm not subscribing to your paradigm or what you speak, not in any way, shape, or form. It's just more of the same corporate whores. They're all incestuously tied all the way to the top of the pecking order. So if you didn't get that memo, matter of fact, hey, Brother John, I'm going to post some beautiful documents about how all lawyers, they're all in the pecking order, carrying titles of nobility, where the 13th Amendment was amended, and they weren't supposed to be let in the door, and they burned down the country. Sweetheart, if you haven't watched Changes on the Horizon, that's a beautiful history lesson. And in 1812, when they burned the town down back then in the day, the 13th Amendment was still on the books, but they made like it wasn't. They found it in archives after the fact. Yeah, they're all operating as they gave over their citizenship. They're operating out in a different capacity to enforce garbage from the corporations. And that's it. So if you really think you're going to get remedy going up through the pecking order, if it's not common law, it's dead. It's dead man's law. So, yeah, I'm going to have to, I guess, up the education, and I'm going to pull up some beautiful lawyer stuff that I've got to prove what I speak of on this lawyer garbage, because it's all swill, shill, smoke and mirrors, bull crap, and I'm going to get everybody the memo. So, matter of fact, I'm going to go dig that up. So for Saturday night's call, we can really have some fun. Yeah, we're going to be telling a lot of lawyer jokes. Because, sweetie, you're buying the lie. I'm telling you, and I'm going to prove it to you. So when you come back Saturday night, when I post the email blast, if you're on Privatis.Me, if you're not, get on there. You'll get the email blast. I'm going to have the attachment, and I'm going to prove irrevocably to the masses this lawyer scam is nothing but a scam, and you're nothing but a hypothecation event. No matter how high you think you're going to go up on the pecking order, there is no justice. It's just us against you. So, anyways, on that note, sweetheart, I'm going to let you go. I thank you, though, for sharing, and I'm going to give you some clarity come this Saturday. So stand fast, and Saturday you're going to have a lot more answers than you probably bargained for. Anyways, have a great night, and I appreciate you coming in, Glow. Anyways, I know, sweetie, my producer says she's agreeing with me. I know, but I'm not agreeing with her because the modality she plans on doing this, it's sort of like Brother Wally thinking that he's going to get remedy through the court system, hiring a scumbag attorney to get it up to the next level over there. It's not going to happen. They won't let it. This is the control mechanism, folks. Snap out of it. So you know what? Freedom with responsibility starts with you. It starts with me. It doesn't start with them because, see, they're not going to tell you the truth, folks. They're not going to come clean. This system is so corrupt beyond comprehension, and they don't want you to wake up to divest yourself of these contracts. They don't want you to wake up to divest yourself of the lies. They want you to stay asleep and put your power in their hands. This is why we remove power of attorney on these documents as well, folks. When we do documents, believe me, we're dotting the I's, crossing the T's, and believe me, we're not leaving any wiggle room for what we're trying to say. We give clarity to a fault. Wait till you see the documents. Wait till you see the YouTubes that I'm going to put together, and it's going to blow your ever-loving mind. See, because nobody talks about the damn truth. What they do is they get binded up with the smoke and mirrors game. They start arguing about bull crap. And you know what? I don't argue about nothing. I take the, you see, folks, this is, I'm telling you, you got to get this. I'm going to remove all the oxygen out of the room because I drew my line in the sand because I'm not going to argue anything. I'm going to go to peace, and I'm going to settle this scam by removing the damn presumption. It's that stinking simple. And I know I've been ranting on this for a couple of days, but, you know, y'all ain't getting the memo. You actually think, you know, I see all these people getting documents. I get emails all day long, people sending me their garbage from a summons to this, that. And I said, well, why are you retaining the document? Why are you not returning it? Unacceptable. This contract's hereby rejected. Unacceptable. Blah 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 blah. That's what you need to be doing, sending it. See, because when you accept the present, folks, take a look at the word presentment. That's what it is. Yeah, they're giving you a present. Put the METNT on it, but it ain't no present for you. It's a present for them because they're getting the gift of drafting you for performance and drafting you to basically hypothecate the estate. So they send presentments, and look at, ironically, the word present is in there, but you ain't getting the present. They're getting the present. The present is you showing up. That's why when you go to court, they want you to represent yourself as the present. Ooh, we're going to plunder the citizenship slave ship. That's what it is. Look at the word citizen and put the word ship on it. Their objective is to plunder the citizenship. That's all they're doing. But that's all right. Hey, they can do all the ones that want to stay in Mammon. They can stay there. Or they can remove the presumptions and get out of the body politic. That's the starting point. And, yeah, that's all going to be posted for everybody's consumption who's full members over at Privatis.Me. So if your education of removing the chains that bind so you can drop them is of value, this is your starting point. This is because there's nothing else that's going to work. If you go and argue anything, you've given over. If you go and sign things, you've given over. You're going to remove presumptions. That's your job. That's your function, to free yourself from the chains that bind, and your children, and your children's children. Because if everybody don't start stepping up soon, they're going to experience a whole different set of pain that they never thought possible. Because it's coming, folks.
Well, they're already doing it.
Yeah.
Right?
Hey, folks. Yeah, brother. Hey, John, do you see that video I posted you, that 8-minute one about debtors' prisons? Hey, folks, I have a package over at my house that's free for all my fully paid members. Yep, you got to pay for your education. You're gonna pay, but it's chump change because to the tune of thousands of dollars of them raping your estate and dragging you into a court. You don't have to worry about going to court. You do this process. You ain't going to court. They can't drag it in because you're just reversing the process of what they use on you. They send you 3 presentments, and when you accept them or fail to respond to them, you've acquiesced away your rights and given over. Next thing you know, you find your happy butt in a court with some judge legislating from the bench because the slave didn't know he was a slave. Well, hey, folks, remove the presumption, and that third-party debt termination package is so bad to the bone. It's the beat the brakes off the clowns of the circus on a whole different level, as long as you know how to stand fast. See, but you have to come to my house to get the education, because you got to understand how Tricks is for Kids works. If you don't understand how the tricks work, then you're gonna subscribe to the lie and get yourself drafted for performance. So guess what? I'll guarantee anybody that they won't subscribe to the Tricks is for Kids hour if they come over to my house and get the memo. But if you don't come over and get your education on, then guess what? You get to stand fast, and they're going to breach your trust. They're going to beat your brakes off. They're going to steal and hypothecate everything when it doesn't even have to be. It was all 100% fraud, but you didn't know it was a fraud because you weren't paying attention. So all you got to do is remove presumptions by doing a counteroffer and standing fast. And anything they send as any more presents, don't accept them because they're not for you. They're for the dead entity. That's why they're presents. Only the dead entity they want to draft for performance so they can get a hypothecation game. Well, we return presents to the clowns. I don't accept any presents, i.e. presentments from clowns. Undeliverable as addressed, and that's what I put on their envelope, return to sender. And they never complete the circuit, so they don't have a game. You pull the oxygen out of the room by removing the presumption. But if you accept the offer and you open it, then they got a game. And you better know how to return the presentment. Matter of fact, Brother John, a friend of mine from Florida sent me a beautiful document that we're going to post. If you do open by mistake, really thinking that there's a cookie inside, there ain't no cookie inside. It's just more pain, more lies, more bull crap. Folks, it's a scam. It's a sham, and especially the third-party debt scam. It is the worst of all the scams because guess what? The original creditor got paid. And technically, you were the original creditor, but you gave over because you didn't know who you are because they don't have no res, no energy. They steal yours. They can't produce nothing until they get a game player and a game piece on the board. That's you. Well, guess what? You get to remove that presumption with a counteroffer that beats the brakes off them without going to war, without arguing, and yet, hey, the game is dead. It's over. I guarantee it. But you got to come to my house and get your learn on, because if you believe, like I had one brother, Brother Robert, I'm giving you a shout out. He actually gave me a call and was trying to share the love. He goes, well, Pete, what if they fill that second document out? I said, what, do you want crack? I said, dude, it's a joke. It's a game. They aren't going to produce a presentment in 21 days, and they don't have the capacity to produce a valid claim in 210 years. Folks, it's an anomaly. It's a scam. It already got settled with the original creditor on the LLC. We talk about the insurance. The insurance already settled the claim. Now you've got Tricks is for Kids hour with third-party debt collectors, and if you don't remove that presumption by your counter offer, now they're going to drag you into court because they're desperate, because there's nothing left to steal. So all you got to do is remove the presumptions. It's so damn simple. That's why nobody's getting it. Maybe I need to make it like Pythagoras' theorem over here because it's
that's the thing, Peter. It almost seems too good to be true.
Yeah.
You know, it's you got these collection agencies calling me all the time, and you hear these little things. Well, send them a letter and tell them not to call no more, but you still get the debt, and well, there is actually an easy way to get rid of third-party debt. And no, really, no, that's right. So people have been conned so many times, and
right.
in this world, stuff like that. We're just programmed not to believe anything good. And, once they put your documents into action, stuff like that, and next thing you know, they're not calling anymore. And they're leaving you alone, and that's only after the first one. And
right.
You got 3 more to go if need be. But like I say, it never goes that far because those are some scary documents, and I wouldn't want to be a third-party debt collector.
Oh, yeah. Hey, folks, and we're using the UPU on the bottom. If you don't understand what the content of my documents are, and this becomes an international issue, because they are committing fraud by doing it in domestic. You're removing it from domestic. So I know nobody understands what I'm doing here. But you know what? That's why you got to come over to my house. It's a quick, easy learn. What I'm doing here, these administrative processes, I'm going to have YouTubes for every damn process on the site. So if you haven't come in, hey, if you're still sitting in the cheap seats, i.e. the free seats, and you're dealing with third-party debt, you need to come over to my house and get the game on, because they're going to keep moving forward for you. They're going to fleece you if you don't know how to remove presumptions. And it's so damn simple, and I'm having successes, and I'm going to be doing a success YouTube here in the near future. John, this is what blows me away. I bring nothing but proofs and truth all day long. And my sheeple brother actually just They've all been so duped for so damn long. Well, they can't see the truth as plain as the nose on my damn face. I mean, I know what I speak of, and I can prove it. Anyway, so what the hell?
Brother,
what's it going to take?
I'm surprised that you're doing this well, to be honest with you, because you are up against a multi-billion-dollar machine that, sits there and programs the masses every single day. You know what I mean? And it's a wonder that we get as many as we do, because it is a brilliant, intricate, and a well-woven machine, and it is very easy to trap us like insects, basically. So we've got to pull a lot of people from the web. And sometimes it's a little sticky, and sometimes, they don't want to pull off too easily, but
right.
Slowly but surely, they're coming forward, and it's getting better every day, Peter. It just takes time, and I know why you're rushing, because it's like now's the time, because if you keep on waiting, it's around the corner, folks. We've got to set up these new realities. We've got to set up these new systems before the old ones are gone, because they have made it so they can only do anything but collapse. That's all they can do.
Yeah, it's a mathematical anomaly that will never be satisfied. It's an impossibility. And now they're going after everybody. Like I say, oh, hey, brother, did you see that post I put out yesterday? Here, let me read this. Hey, folks, just to think that I'm going to show you how nefarious these scumbags are. We got a couple minutes. It's 8:53. I'm going to read this to you. I posted this in everybody's Skype box yesterday. There's a huge new money-making scam going on in San Diego, California. Mm-hmm. It will take months for the victims to realize they've been had, and they may never realize how they got conned. The public school system is sending notices home with students, and these notices purport to be an assessment and a bill against an unregistered business. But it is in the name of the student, which is, hey, guess what? Their child's a corporation too, folks, and or their parents. They're the corporations as well. They didn't know it. They didn't know that they were tricked. Anyways, the one I heard about was for $451 and was retroactive back 3 years. Of course, there's usual language about interest, penalties, and collection costs for which you will be held liable. Now, I can imagine the normal reaction by most parents is to dismiss and discard the notice of assessment as they are not involved in the operation of an unregistered business. Yeah, well, they didn't realize they were the corporation. They're the unregistered business, the franchisee. Anyways, the notice will be long forgotten when it comes to haunt them. My bet is there will be 2 more notices presented over the next few months. See, remember everything's done in threes, John? By the student or the mail. All communications will most likely be handled the same way as the first one, and it does not pertain to me. They'll throw it away. Well, it does, because you don't understand that you need to return that presentment. Even though you don't think it's you, they're looking for a contract. Anyways, this is a notice and offer to contract. If you do not specifically reject the contract, you will be bound by it as if you had signed it in blood. The city cannot hold you accountable statutorily, but they can hold you accountable contractually. See, because, brother, it's no different than me saying I mowed your lawn, John, 3 times, and you owe me $3,000. You didn't agree to the amount, but if I send you it 3 times and you fail to respond, it will hold up in a court if I drag your ass in, even though you could prove I never even showed up. The point is, you had 3 times to friggin' not acquiesce and settle this and say, hey, your offer to contract is rejected as unacceptable. And if you didn't send it back to me and say, Pete, I don't remember the date and the time you came, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, then I would be done. But because you acquiesce away your rights by just accepting the offers or just throwing them out in the garbage, guess what? They got a game, folks. So let's say San Diego, this is where it's going down, sends out 1 million of these notice of assessments for $450 each, and they send out 2 more notices, and voila. They just created $450 million in accounts receivables, which they can sell off for $300 million. And how many students are there in San Diego? The solution is simple. Take the notice and write diagonally across the damn document in bold letters, in 45 in red, your offer to contract is rejected as unacceptable. Date and sign it as a living beneficiary, just your lowercase you first and middle, and return the document to the school from where it came, and keep a copy of the document before and after you do the same, do the above. See, folks, here's the lesson. This crap's going down. This is how ugly it's got out there. So if you think I'm making this crap up, I'm not. That's the point. But it's so easy to fix. That's the point. So guess what? If you come over to my house, you'll never be duped by the con men, because that's all they are. All these third-party scum-sucking bottom feeders, that's all they are. I'm going to show you how to stand fast in the breach and you'll never get drug into court. I promise. If you follow my friggin' directives. It's not me. Hey, this is what, and I'm not telling you, I don't give legal advice. This is what I do for me, and then, hey, if the shoe fits, wear it. If it doesn't, stand fast, do nothing, and they'll be glad to hypothecate you on a different level. Anyway, John, I'm done with that rant.
Yeah, well, they sure will. Exactly. I agree with you 100%. You know, like we keep on iterating. You know, it's time to take a stand. We're going to join up in Privatis and stuff like that. You know, you're going to pay $120 a year. We want to hear from you. We want to get together. You know, I believe you have a chat room there too, Peter. And you know, I'm not seeing too much blogging going on in there and stuff like that.
Yeah, well,
too,
brother,
right?
I don't do that. I don't have time because everybody gives their 2 cents, their world skewed view according to GARP. So sort of like all my YouTubes not having comment section on it because what happens is my ignorant brothers mislead the other brothers, and then they make a wrong decision based upon false information posted in a dadgum comment section because they don't have their freaking mind right.
Well, I would hope, you know, that, you know, the members that are paying the $120 a year would, you know, have the sensibility to, you know, form a community. Because we got to come together, Peter. That's it.
Yep.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We got to come together, and we got to start putting in new systems and helping each other out. And like I say, if we don't start now, it's going to be too late. You just see it everywhere. You know, if you're alive, it's everywhere. It can be on mainstream or it can be on sheeple TV. But you know, everybody's telling you right now the world's going to shit. So
yeah, well, but hey, you know what, folks? Come over to my house and you don't get tricked by the Tricks is for Kids hour.
Exactly.
I'll share the love. That's where I live. But you got to come over to the private side. See, I can't do it in the public. I've been saying this for I don't know multiple shows now. Anyway, we've got about 90 seconds to close this puppy out. Yeah, folks, Saturday. Yeah, we're gonna share some love about lawyers. I'm gonna drop, brother Johnny. I got some really good stuff. I mean, some information.
I betcha. You could write books on it.
I'm a walking plethora of knowledge. I got so much information, and brother, I got more topics than Carter's got pills. Anyways,
they just basically throw you the ammunition, don't they? You know, it's just so rampant.
Yep. Anyways, folks, hey, we love that you came tonight. Yeah, Brother Peter was not feeling too chipper on the front end. Just need a little tincture of time sometimes to get past this insanity. Folks,
these calls are great therapy.
Yeah. Yeah, Peter, this is Pete's rant session. Anyways, folks, hey, we love you. We thank you for coming in the spirit of things. Step on in Saturday. It's going to get a whole bunch more fun, and we're going to give you more direction of flow. That's where we live, and yeah, to thy own self be true. We'll catch you on the rebound. Brother John, thank you for being here, and folks, we'll catch you Saturday night. Have a great one. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.